You can always get back on track, and here with us to do that this morning, Jamie Saunders of Johnny D's. And Jamie, today we're cooking up chicken. In fact, you told me we were going to do this last week. I was so excited. In fact, when you come to the studio, people start flocking. And a head of traffic had come down and said, hey, the studio smells delicious today. I knew Jamie was down here cooking. So start us up, Jamie.
All right. Well, the first thing I did here, we're going to use coconut oil for this because it's just, like I said, a little bit healthier. And it actually adds a nice flavor to the dish. So what I did first was I started cooking with the vegetables. There's just mix, whatever you want. You need about 3 or 4 cups, and you can pretty much use whatever vegetables you want. Here I use broccoli, zucchini, mushrooms, red pepper, onions, a little bit of garlic, fresh rosemary and fresh thyme, which is kind of like, I feel like is important because it gives it that nice, that nice flavor to it that normally vegetables wouldn't have, and of course salt and pepper.
And sauteing the vegetables, there's a trick to that too, because you don't want to overcook the veggies.
No, the first thing I did was I started with the broccoli, let that marinate in there for a little bit. As soon as it starts to brown, then you can add the rest of your vegetables. You don't need to stir them too much. Stir them every few minutes. There will be a lot in your pan, but it's they cook down. So, be careful when you stir them. Just use probably tongs would be the easiest, and that way you can kind of like flip them over. And, put a little salt and pepper when you start cooking them, when you see the vegetables start browning. Take a piece of zucchini, give it a bite. See if it needs more salt and pepper. See if it's a good, if it's cooked enough for you. I like my vegetables to have a little bit of a crunch. Some people like them to be softer. So, whatever you like. I'm not going to tell you how to eat your vegetables. You know what you like at home.
Okay,
so.
well, let's move on to the rice, because I know you're going to do something special for us today.
We're gonna put the rice in here with a little bit of coconut oil. Now, I used one pan to cook pretty much cook everything. I cooked the rice before in a pot, but then I let it sit. So what I'm going to do with a little bit of coconut oil in here, I'm going to make like a little well here, and I'm going to crack an egg right here in the middle. I'm going to let that cook for a little bit.
Right.
And then I'm just going to stir it up, and it's ready to go. We'll add some of the vegetables in there to toss them and heat it back up.
And the trick for getting a good, consistent texture to the rice is what for the viewers?
Well, when I cook the rice, I always put a little bit more water than the box says. I feel like the box always dries my rice out. So I always put a little bit more, but I cook it until there's a little bit of water left, and then I just leave it. Let that rice naturally absorb the rest of that water. Okay. Because you don't want a lot of water in the pan here, because then it steams, and I don't really want that. I want to fry the rice up a little bit. So we're just going to toss this up now.
And how long is that going to take, Jamie?
Just a few minutes. You're just going to cook it until pretty much that egg
So the egg sets up a little bit?
The egg sets up, exactly. And you'll see it. You'll see the egg, the little whites on the egg. You'll see it coating the rice and stuff like that. So once that cooks, we'll just add our vegetables. And as you can see here, the rice has a little bit of a brown color because this same pan, I cooked the chicken in too. So there's only one pot that one pan you have to use throughout the whole thing. Now, so it makes doing dishes easier.
What type of meat you're using here today? Is this what part of the chicken?
What
part of the chicken?
It's chicken tenderloin.
Chicken tenderloin.
The reason why I did it for this is because sometimes I don't want to go through all the trouble of trimming a chicken. Tenderloins are always trimmed. They're nice you just cut them quickly into little cubes, and it's ready to go a lot faster than if you buy a breast. You need to slice it and cut any fat off of it, and sometimes you just don't have time.
Well, here's a great thing about this dish too. Not a lot of work. Easy preparation. As we said right at the top of the block, it's going to be something healthy for you and your family, and depending on what you're cooking, this will feed a small army.
Yeah, this is done.
Exactly.
This is great. Even the recipe that I provided for the viewers feeds 3 to 4 people. 2 to 3, 4. It depends on the appetite. If you're feeding kids, it'd be more,
It's always great to have you on.
Oh,
Thanks for
you.
being here.